Okay, abusia, Ghana, ye politics, sisi ano, offer Ghana, baby bia, NPP minority leader, or no, ena ye bonidi, and the dina ye bonin so, enye din pa, ena ye bono. After, say, Tamale High Court, omuruli, say, Kpandai, seat no, yam konkwa ye rerun of election. Abusia, Afenyo markets, bonting, be accusee. Judge na or release a case na or say judge no waruli case no in favor of the pay masters asem we are Afenyo Markin sakwakoka no asem kesia court no judge no see no with contempt of law procedure busuya enye asem keto appoint no sisi a Afenyo Markins judge a friend of justice planche abusuya we see Afenyo Markins with contempt. Say it is a new ruling now ruling or fight and answer or kika and send be against the ruling now ruling or also accusing is a pay masters and our ruling case in favor of mommy uncle na young konkuti and some so Solomon Usu at the honsem about to unsubscribe subscribe like and share my Afro so and into me and can be Ghana politics avenue. So and don't forget to click on the notification bell.
Mr. Usu.
Yes. Held on the 7th of December 2024, governed by laws, Constitution NSCI 127. Electoral officers are supposed to behave within the confines of the law. Let me say that the Kpandai constituency has traditionally been a stronghold of the NDC. In fact, 1992 till 2012 thereof, it has been held by the NDC. I remember Koadai holding it for 4 consecutive terms. And even before the seat was snatched from the NDC, Matthew Nyinam, the now embattled MP, had to win as an independent candidate, if my memory serves me right, before crossing compared to the MPP and winning it. So that has been a traditionally an NDC seat. I would applaud the petitioner. You see, when you go into an election and there are difficulties, you don't take up arms or pick up arms, but you do what any civilized person would do by following due process. And the due process is to go to the law court and here to go to the high court. So if the petitioner did that, as a Democrat, I am for it. When the matter was sent to court, the defendant also responded to the various allegations that have been leveled in the petition. The petitioner or the defendant had a counsel. The matter went to court, each one presented their issues, and at the end of the day, the court looked at the various facts that have been presented and said that a rerun was necessary. You see, my brother made a very beautiful submission, but his answer is also contained in the very writ that was filed. An order setting aside the declaration of the parliamentary election results affecting the 41 polling stations out of a total number of 152 polling stations in Kpandai by the 2nd and 3rd, so given on the 9th of December. An order directed at the 2nd and 3rd respondent to conduct a rerun of the parliamentary election in the affected 41 polling stations out of the total of 152 polling stations in the Kpandai constituency on a date determined by the court, or in the alternative, and this is the petitioner speaking, in the alternative, an order directed at the 2nd and 3rd respondent to recollect. So the petitioner was that confident that even in recollection of the 41 polling stations, he was still in the lead. Recollect the results in the affected 41 polling stations on the date determined by the court. So his view had already been captured in the writ that was sent by the petitioner. Look, we cannot, on the altar of someone has been declared, and so even if the will of the people has been shortchanged, we must let the status quo remain as such. No way. It is better for us to have the right representation. I don't have any problem with whoever is the MP in Kpandai, so far as or so long as that person is coming to serve the interests of this country. I don't have any difficulty. But you cannot come to parliament when indeed the people that you claim they voted for you did not vote for you. That's why you must resist it. The court says there should be a rerun. I've heard the candidate of the NPP say that he won comfortably with 3,700 and something votes. Is that not the case? So this decision is not a victory for anyone. All that the court has said is that go back and let's see whether truly, mano a mano, you won the elections. It is the same voter register that will be used. By now, you may have about 10% of the voting population either dead or left the place. So a substantial number of voters are still there. Go back and do what? And vote. Now, I see the difficulty of the minority leader and the minority NPP. Mind you, these days when you are quoting minority, don't let us put all of us together, because the United Party is a minority party. So sometimes if we don't draw the distinction, people might think that we fall under the minority NPP, when in fact the United Party is also a minority party, but a responsible one as such. Here is a political party's leader in parliament who knows the law. In fact, he is a lawyer that knows that the matter has already been appealed, taking the judiciary to the cleanest. That the judge, Justice Planch, only sought to serve his paying-masters. Hey! And he has not been called to any how to before anybody or any contempt procedure be occasioned. I have not heard it before. He feeds from the court. He feeds from the court. I'm not a lawyer. I don't intend to be one. But he, Afenyo, will continue to feed from the court. So if you are bastardizing the court, you think you are spoiling me my business? It is you. Especially when he does not have any evidence. In any case, this judge, this very case, let me see the date that they filed it. So that this case was filed when? I think it should be in December of 2024. Is that not the case? January. You have the exact date. All right. We need a date stamp. Okay. So you are when you get the date. But when at the time this matter was filed, I believe it was still within the tenure of President Akuffo. Because the law is so clear that if you have a petition against any issue involving election, it has to be, if it is a presidential, it has to be 21 days. Is it the same for the parliamentary? Yes. So if it is so, that means it was filed within the tenure of President Akuffo. Indeed, this case would have been assigned by the embattled Chief Justice Tokonu. So if the minority has any issues, do they have issues with the one that assigned, that is Tokonu? Which one is not true? Help me.
It's a high. He filed at the High Court, Tamale. So it's a judge there. It's not now that Tokonu is going to assign a judge to handle the matter.
Every case,
the judge in Koadai was stopped from
yes.
What I'm saying is,
I'm very surprised.
if you say he has signed it,
Who supervises the judiciary? Every case that goes to court, let me tell you, the stamp at the back of the case is that of the Chief Justice. Am I wrong? So if you have Afenyo Markins who could go to court at 12 o'clock and get conviction and get rulings ready by 3 o'clock, come to tell us that what the judge did was to serve the paymasters. And I'm saying that the case started during the tenure of the MPP's president, or the president of Ghana, Nana Akuffo, who was an MPP person. Then whose paymasters was he talking about? That's the first point. Secondly, Senna, you were in this country when, in the last elections, Obuasi East, the returning officer, declared for the NDC. You were in this country. Now, the matter was taken to court. The court overturned that declaration in favor of what? The MPP. Why did Afenyo not come and tell us that the judge on that occasion served his or her paymasters? What about Isawam? When the court ruled in favor of Addo, why did we not hear from Afenyo come to tell us that the court only served their paymasters? And these rulings all came in April of 2025. In April of 2025, who was the president of this country? Is it not John? It wasn't not John Mahama, and is it still not John Mahama? So you see, when you have a very weak leader, I have said that Afenyo is a very weak leader, so weak a leader. And it's the reason why the MPP is so down there. He's not preferring or offering that constructive leadership. That leadership that builds a party. I keep saying that it is not much about the numbers in parliament. Because the situation the MPP finds itself now, they have been there before. In 1996, the MPP only had 67 members of parliament. But because of the quality of leadership, because of the quality, the position that Afenyo is occupying today has been occupied by the likes of J.H. Mensah before. Those were the days that we could pick up pens and papers and then go and listen to parliamentary debate to form our opinions on how to even write various opinions on matters. I dare say that you will be making a fundamental mistake as a student of today to go and listen to Afenyo and follow his arguments and go and write F straight. But the true problem is not even with this. I have listened to the embattled MP himself, and that is where I believe that the judge has rather helped the MPP. In all honesty, because see, the NDC went to court mostly to get the 41 polling stations either rerun or recollected. Now, when I listened to the MP, the embattled MP, what he said was that the 41 polling stations contained about more than 10,000 votes. The only 41 polling stations that the NDC was talking about. And he claims that these were the polling stations that he won by a landslide. He won convincingly. Means these are his strongholds. And that the rest of the polling stations that they are talking about, the NDC won. So if you are a judge and someone comes to you that you preserve what I won and go after where I lost, I thought that the MPP would be clapping for the judge. Now look, I do not want to advantage you, because then what it will mean is that the NDC will be going into the rerun with that advantage. That they are already leading, they are only going to fight for the 41 polling stations and make sure that either they win or level. So if you say a rerun, would you not clap for him? That has to be. Now, I have said that the Kpandai constituency is the stronghold of the NDC by virtue of things that happened along the line. Yenam was able to penetrate. The true problem is that the MPP is now in disarray. They have a serious issue, a very big issue, division at the highest order. Look, I will be very surprised to see Kennedy Japan in Kpandai campaigning for Yenam, when he has openly aligned himself with Dr. Bawumia and campaigning against Kennedy Japan sharply and heavily. And if you are Kennedy Japan or Brian Champo, would you waste your time and resources to go there and say you are going to campaign for Nyinam and empower him so that he can continue to be in parliament and use his parliamentary influence to be cajoling his people, his constituents to be following you? This is the crux of the matter. This is where the problem is. Where Kennedy has accused Nyinam and Co, all those northern parliamentary caucus, of doing tribal politics. Pure tribal politics. So these are the issues. Not because Afenyo thinks he lost that, but no. He knows that even in campaigning for the candidate, it will be difficult because the frontliners, those that want to lead the party, he will not have the full cooperation of them. That is why, if you are a leader, we keep telling people, when some of us were in the MP, we were telling you that, look, when you are going into internal battles, leaders, be it parliamentarians, ministers, party executives, don't take sides. Be neutral. Be neutral. So if you are known to be doing this against the other candidates, all in favor of Bawumia, what I've heard a lot of people from the other camp say is that Bawumia has been promising the New Patriotic Party that any election that happens in the northern region, he will deliver. So this is why they are handing it over to him. Go to Kpandai and deliver. But I'll assure you, Sarah, that they will give the MPP a gap. My only worry is that our final certificate is not ready. That the United Party would have fielded a candidate, and I can tell you that we would have given the NDC a good one and we will win it.
But you were not part of the.
Which one is not part? It's a rerun. Everybody's in.
The rerun, yeah.
Oh, you are not in here.
The candidates that way. Thank you. So
now you want to cut off.
I know, but
advantage of.
But this one to launch ourselves. Because these people, they are, look, it's a gun. Now that you are referring to people as motherfuckers. Hey, Osofo, you know that guy is Osofo.
Really?
He prays more than anybody. He's a motherfucker. Motherfucker. Hey! This is what the party has got to do.
So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. A few comments. This is Dennis Yakwete says, I agree with the MPP. The Court of Appeal will deliver justice by either affirming the decision of the court below or sustaining the appeal. But I want to ask if the Court of Appeal justices are from Nigeria or are also part of the irresponsible judges who we have at the moment, as Afenyo Markin would want us to believe. Today, because of only one person, the dismissed CJ, who was out of the bench, the judiciary all of a sudden has become flawed and irresponsible. Isn't that interesting? To have come from Afenyo Markin, a minority leader and a lawyer. As a citizen, he has every right to criticize the judgment of the court, but the manner and demeanor with which he did it, and the language used to suggest as though all the justices of the court were just appointed yesterday by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, is troubling. He said, thank you very much for the comment. And this one is from Don Patricio, who says, good morning. Please remind us of Jechi Kwesen and what Nanado said against him. Why are they afraid of a rerun if they're sure they won? And that's coming from Patricio, who sent.
Okay, Abuja, we need answer a course or political highway. So, a year after your marking, Cecilia or Jenny Dean Papa, and I didn't so our ordinary so a needing Papa and our ordinary. Abuja, no handsome and a brand, but I must say, some of the penny could see and some way, and my aha, a Ghana politics avenue. So, but I must say.